In this bonus episode, we review the England-India test. Mo chats about the one record he holds with 6 others, and Rash reveals what it's like getting someone out on 99 runs. Hello and welcome back to the Beard Before Wicket podcast. It's a bonus episode. We've racked our brains together, watched lots of the test. He survived hay fever, and it's a lot of brands, man. It's a lot of brands.
What, you come as a fancy dress or what?
I like this teacher personally. I've got a little stat for you. We're doing a bit of
Looney Tunes.
You're not a fan?
Yeah, but when I was 5 years old.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. While we're researching, you and 6 others share a stat, but can you guess what that stat might be? It's a test cricket stat. You can help me out if you want.
What, 200 wickets and 2,000 or 3,000 runs?
No.
I have no clue.
I'll give you a clue of like a couple of the other players that you share it with. One is Stuart Broad and one is Gus Atkinson.
Hat-trick.
That's one of them. Test hat-trick, that's one of them. Okay. But there's 2 more.
With Gus Atkinson?
Yeah.
Must be something to do with scoring 100.
Yeah.
Birthdays?
No.
Something to do with scoring 100. Test hat-trick, test century.
100 loads?
No, just test century, test hat-trick, and one other thing.
I got 100 loads. I don't know.
Test 10-4.
10-4?
Yeah. I knew that was coming.
You mean 10-4?
10-4.
It's not 10-4.
That's how it said.
Listen, say 10-4.
Wait, hold on.
Stop trying to be all correct.
Yeah.
How do you say
10-4?
How do you say 5-4?
5-4?
No, that's not how it's spelled.
We're not playing football here, 5-4.
This guy don't have a clue about everything, you know that. Go on. Yeah, 10-4.
But that's the stat. How do you say?
What's the stat?
The stat is Test cricket hat-trick, Test century, and a
10-4.
4.
No.
Okay.
A 10-4. You share that with Gus Atkinson, Stuart Broad, Johnny Briggs, who's some 19th century English player, Irfan Pathan, Wasim Akram, and Harbhajan Singh. It's mad stat, isn't it?
6 stat.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, thanks. It took us a while to come up with that.
Google it, obviously.
I'm not going to remember that, am I? How am I going to remember that? That's definitely.
That's actually embarrassing. But it's alright, man. You're new to cricket, man. It's alright.
Yeah. Listen, don't listen to this, man. What, you've been on my side. I've watched.
Yeah, but my own side, man. I'm on my own side.
I've watched a lot of Test cricket this time around. Which you know.
You only watched yesterday. You told me.
I know.
You watched the last hour, I reckon.
Nah, I watched the whole day. First of all, I watched the whole of day 5. I watched, I'd say 80% of day 3, and I watched some of day 1. And how much have you watched?
I don't know. In terms of percentages, I don't know.
No, you watched
I watched
a
a bit.
bit.
I actually watched a bit.
Alright, well, let's talk about it. Let's start with this topic first. Mike Atherton on commentary said that Ben Duckett, who hit 149, is the best all-format batter in the world.
At this moment in time, in terms of form,
he's in great form.
Definitely. Test, ODI and T20s. Consistently.
Actually, there's no one that's playing all 3.
He smashes in all 3. And he plays, like I said, the good thing is, he plays very similar, obviously, in T20 ODIs. But in
he's
Test
a brilliant
cricket,
player, though.
He plays the same. Positive, the way he plays, the way he shots he plays, reverse sweeps, everything. So
he's always been a really good player.
I would agree with that.
Really?
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
in all 3 forms. And he opens consistently. He's done well. So I'm all for that.
Anybody else plays all 3 forms? Who does that? He's killed it for the last.
Australia?
Not as good as him.
That's what I'm saying.
Is there anyone else?
India?
No one plays all
Pakistan?
3 forms.
That's what I'm saying. You can't think of anybody.
You could consider, obviously, Rohit Sharma's retired now. You could consider him if we're thinking like the last maybe 2 or 3 years.
Nah, I don't think Test matches as good as Ben. Not as good as Ducky.
Nah,
Ducky's unbelievable.
Ducky smashed it. He's doing really
You know what? Over the last year, maybe like a year and a half, actually since he's come back to England, it's gone different level. I think in the last year especially, like hitting spin now straight, because he's always amazing in spin. Reverse sweep. You couldn't bowl at him a lot of the time, but teams figured out, bring mid-off up, put 2 there. Now he goes down the wicket, bang over mid-off. Now you can't set up.
Like I say, as a spinner, even Jadeja found that in this test. So hard to bowl to. Sweeps, reverse sweeps, can come down. So very rarely will he just try and pat it back.
Top player.
So his defence almost is a...
And then he's hard because he's small. He's hard to... like. You can't just bowl like outside of stump because he just cuts it. He doesn't leave many balls.
The players who actually sweep and reverse sweep and go all this kind of stuff are hard to bowl to.
What do you mean by because he's small?
Because he's a bit shorter. So like when they try and bowl wide and normally it's a bit like... For someone like Zach Crawley who's taller, it's a good length ball. For him, it can be a cut to a certain extent. And he doesn't leave... He's quite aggressive.
He's probably one of the better... better player with spin. Like in the
Definitely.
world now as well.
I would say
in the
Ruti.
world as well.
I would say Ruti's the best, like in terms of all round game against spin.
Okay, yeah.
But I would say Ducky is up there with hardest
say-
to bowl at
Would you say in England or in the world?
in the world.
In the world,
Yeah.
100%.
Nah,
Hard to
There's not
bowl.
many better than them
It's hard to bowl.
against spin.
if we're
Especially
saying,
reverse sweeping like that.
Scoring
In front, behind,
options.
whatever, and then sweeping, and then all of them.
Yeah.
Tough batter.
you say, let's say we're considering like the last 3 or 4 years, anyone that springs to mind? Because right now it's difficult. I mean, right now
Like
he's
spin.
worse. Just generally, just
Batter.
all format batter. Like some Pakistani fans would say Babar, but he's been out of form for a while.
No, forget form. We're just talking generally.
Yeah, just
He was
generally.
all for the team, so when he was all playing
Yeah.
consistently, then he was.
No,
up
he was
there.
brilliant as well.
He would
Yeah.
be up there.
I know
Like
he's a top
Sharma
player.
again would be up
The
there.
thing is,
Yeah.
the way when Ducky plays, especially spin, none of them play like that. Like he murders you in a different way. Like he makes you uncomfortable as a spinner in a different. He takes you down differently.
Yeah.
But he's now. I mean, still, it's only been probably a year and a half, really, where he's like
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah.
But I'd say Brookie as well, man. Brookie's been all 3 formats.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's
Yeah.
still fairly newish to it. He's
Yeah.
fairly new.
Same as Ducky,
Brookie's a bit longer. So
Now, didn't they come back together in Pakistan?
Nah, but
Yeah, they did.
Brookie's been doing it for a lot longer, I think.
Brookie's done it for longer.
Sorry, Duckett's doing it for longer.
No, he hasn't.
I'm sure he has.
No.
If you look at his ODIs and T20s, how many games they played and whatever.
Be-
I actually don't
I
know.
reckon Brookie be more.
Okay.
Be interesting.
It would be similar.
Yeah, because remember in Pakistan series they both came back in the team. Well, Brookie made his debut and Ducky came back in.
Also, this test match, there was a lot of hundreds in general. We spoke about that as well. Why do you think that happened? Because we had this chat and I was saying the batting lineups are strong from both sides, and we'll come on to the bowling in a second. There's just a
But I
lot
think
of runs.
obviously a lot of it plays down to the pitch. Headingley is
weather.
like interesting like that, man.
Pitch, weather.
Because generally when you get to Headingley, you toss up, you generally look up when they say, right, it's a bit cloudy, win the toss, have a ball first. But when the sun's out, it's generally a flat pitch. That's when the hundreds come out. As soon as it gets a bit cloudy and there's that thing in the atmosphere, the ball starts doing a bit. So that's why you see Headingley is either 100 or they can go bang, 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 bang.
Which
get
happened
wickets,
actually
Which
to
happened
get-
quite a lot as well. So like I said, them hundreds, it'd be interesting to see when them hundreds were scored. Were they scored actually when the weather was...
No, it was always.
I don't know, was it...
Yeah.
Or
It had nothing to do. So what it was this wicket. So
the
Headingley
pitch itself?
generally is a special place to play.
Yeah.
There's always great games at Headingley.
Yeah. Past... Yeah.
And this pitch, with the weather being so good, was always going to be a nice pitch. So I reckon Stokes would bowl first because he's thinking to get wickets early, try and put them on the back foot. Get ahead of the game, whatever. But India played really well. Obviously scored massive. England did the same thing. So then, now it's about, rather than score 450 or 460, you try and get 500. And India missed the trick in both innings, really.
Yeah,
To
for the
the
low order.
tail, yeah.
The low order.
But I also think England backed themselves to chase in a test match still.
Especially the way they're
Especially
playing
Headingley.
now. And also the mentality and the mindset now.
I think they're
Especially
brilliant at
in Test
chasing.
cricket, yeah,
Brilliant in
100%.
Test cricket.
Because when he chose to bowl, and like the commentators and the pundits were all saying like this is a risky strategy. Like
Yeah, I think Michael Vaughan was saying he was surprised that you.
Yeah, he
put
said
the
he-
ball first.
yeah.
But that look at the result.
Yeah.
But one thing with
Result.
Stokes, he doesn't regret. Like
No,
even
no
if he made a
regrets,
mistake, he
no.
won't regret it.
You got
He's trying to do
the
the positive thing.
what generally happens, they go on the gut feeling or whatever it is. They don't sometimes go so much on stats. Say
India
this,
would've bowled
stats
first.
say that, whatever. It's more of a gut feeling of, right, what's the best chance of us not winning this game?
Chasing at Headingley, it's hard to defend, especially against England players. The way they
Yeah.
sweep and reverse.
And plus also the bat to number
yeah.
10 or something.
Yeah.
9.
yeah. But
You got Woxie coming in, then you got Carson.
And doesn't mean
Yeah,
they're
batted
always
well,
going to
wouldn't
chase. Doesn't mean they're
Yeah.
always going to chase. It just means that
the chances are higher.
at grounds like Headingley,
Fast
they
scoring.
back
as well.
themselves to chase
Yeah.
anything.
But also we saw like loads of drop catches as well, which like there was quite a lot. I think India probably dropped like
I
6 or
reckon.
7.
I reckon it's the
Hard viewing.
hardest ground.
Viewing?
100%. The viewing at this.
What is
ground.
that from the Western Is that from the side
Both-
or actually
and both
from
sides.
bowlers?
I remember playing there a few test matches, and I remember my first test match against Sri Lanka there, and I think like it's Mahela and Sangha and these guys were batting, and as soon as it went over the the crowd bit, the stand, I can see the ball, but before that it was almost like I could not see the ball, and like so many times it happened. I remember that day thinking
But
this is the hardest.
Where were the drop catches at? Was it a lot more square of the wicket where people are hitting it flat, or was it actually in the air?
There's only one.
There was one in the air.
Yeah, there's only one.
That was on the 5th day. That was the Jasprit one, wasn't it? On the 5th day.
Catches, do you reckon, then?
Gully sip catch. But there's a line now at the ground. I don't know if you've seen it.
a lot of England grounds. It's not.
There's a few. But
This
this is the hardest.
Okay.
In red ball, white ball you can see it.
Yeah.
Weirdly, but red ball I remember it was very difficult to see, and I think that's why they dropped the catches.
Some
The
ground-
Jasprit one wasn't that high.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So it has to be high to go over the.
Oh, you're saying so he can see it.
So you can see properly. It has to go over.
Mm.
So when it's not that high, you still. I mean, obviously you can see it, but it's not like that easy to visual. The ball, like see the ball properly.
Because he was getting, obviously he dropped quite a few, and I think we spoke about captaincy on was it the last
But to be
episode?
fair, did you drop any dollies? Were they all
the
one
tough chances? If you know.
No, but in international cricket you got to take it.
There
But this is different now.
there was one I think was it on day 2 where it came like to his shoulder and he just went with the just slipped straight through his
No,
hands.
he
Like,
went this
that was
way.
yeah, that was
When
a
actually
bad
it's one of those ones.
Yeah.
You know, Headingley sometimes when you're like, because Headingley's like that.
Also,
So you're a little bit higher on one side,
Yeah.
or you're a little bit lower on the other side.
but also the ball can, like you say,
Yeah.
when it passes the outside edge or even takes it can go that way.
Yeah.
That's why you see
It did,
generally in
that's
England, you see in Headingley or Yorkshire, whatever. After the ball's pitched, it swings 4 byes.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of that in England happens after it pitches, the ball swings
Dukes.
and stuff like that. So
You never really like. I mean, you got to be.
as a keeper as well.
Yeah, you got to be like really switched on
Yeah, you
all the
switch on.
time. And this is probably the difference now between playing in England and playing anywhere else in the world, where you're like every ball is something you're in the game, whether you're in the
I'm
slips,
sure
cover,
even
whatever.
KL said that when he was batting, he goes, even he got 100.
Yeah,
He goes, I
You
never
ever-
felt in.
yeah.
Because feeling in it when you feel comfortable, you could just play any shot. You got to feel in because the pitch still had enough in there. If you put it in the right area, it might do a bit.
There's
or
always
might
that one
swing,
ball, yeah.
might nip back, might pop a bit. So you didn't feel as though you could just play a cover drive at will. He still had to be a bit cautious because it might swing at the outside edge.
That's when people forget how actually different it is playing in England.
Yeah.
Very different.
That's what I was going to ask. So obviously he's saying like he never felt in, considering you got 100.
Yeah.
I was sat at home thinking.
No,
he
but
looks
even himself, he said that.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying.
But like a lot of people as well.
Yeah, but in
they
England
would-
you're never like
yeah.
in all the time.
Unless
Never-
you're playing certain pitches like what completely just flat.
Yeah, and you can
Where
hit
you
it
just,
around.
you can
Yeah.
just drive it and you can hit anything. You just feel it.
Yeah.
But even those wickets when it's overcast, even if the wicket's flat, when it's overcast, there's always something around.
So just for context, like let's say you're playing in India, and he's playing that way. Why would he feel in India? Because the pitch is just not doing anything for the
No,
bowler.
but it's opposite India.
Yeah.
India is more the spin.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
never in because
The
of the
bounce,
spin.
yeah, the
Yeah,
spin
yeah,
and
yeah.
bounce and whatever.
Yeah.
So you never feel it because one might just spin
Spin more.
You know, inside edge. You think, if you're not in, done outside edge, whatever.
But the
It's just
thing,
same
but the
isn't
difference
it?
with that, it was
The
as a
same.
batter is, if it's spinning big, you have a plan, you have a game plan, and you just stick to that plan, whatever, and you'll score. Whereas in England, you can have a game plan, and it will work, obviously, but you're still not like your game plan. You could have the best game plan and get one that bounces, and you're gone.
Yeah.
Like proper, like rips your glove off or something, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas in
yeah.
India, obviously, it spins more and stuff, but you can have a plan like you can sweep, reverse, whatever. So it's very different.
Proper interesting. Also, stat here for you: only 3 other teams have made more than India's 835 runs in a test and gone on to lose. 2 of those were also beaten by Stokes' England. And we were just chatting about him. What is it about this guy? Like,
Ben Stokes.
yeah, like as a captain, we were saying like he chose to bowl. Obviously, Michael Vaughan, who's an ex-England captain, was like bad decision. Some of the pundits said it was.
I think it goes on. Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I think it goes on just gut feeling. You know how it's the fearlessness of just going out there. This is what we decided to. We're 100% committed to doing it, and we're going for it, and we're going to win this way. And if we lose, at least we tried our best. That kind of mindset is got, as opposed to, like you were saying, very strategic. Of right, this is what this ground says. We ball first, and we try to follow a certain way. That's the trend. That's gone out the window. It's more of a right. This is what it is as a team. This is what we collectively want to do, and we're going to go for it. That's the difference, I think. Of why
I think
he's been
it's
a lot more
before that
successful.
actually. So that is his captaincy, obviously, but I think it's before that. So I think I played in the games before he became captain, and the mindset, and it's not the captain's fault, but the whole team and the squad was like, it was, if a team was 250 lead or a 300 run lead, there was no way England were going to win that. Just didn't have the mindset for it, or even 400, they didn't even think about chasing it. If England played okay for a session or so, it's like, oh, we've got a sniff. But it's like, I think he put that belief, him and McCullum, put that belief in the team that we're not going to play for draws. We're going to chase whatever. So even if they score 400, we're going for the chase. There's no like doubting on how we're gonna. There's no like if we do this. It's like no, we're going for it. If we lose, then it's fine. You know what I mean? And I think that is a massive turning point. And then on top of that, I think he's just put in the team. He's backed the players. See, when you feel backed as players, Pope, Crawley, Ducky, even whoever, when you back the players, they will always perform for you at some point.
Personality-wise, is he obviously like everything you've always said to me anyway? But like, say Owen Morgan, you said he's so calm and like you trust what he's going to do. Obviously, you trust Ben Stokes because he's a good captain, evidently. But personality-wise, what is he like? Like, is he
solid person? Good,
he's competitive, very competitive.
Yeah.
Enjoys the challenge, wants to have that fight in him. But the big thing, he gives it 100%. I know like
everything he does is 100%.
You say you give it 100%, but he actually gives it 100% with the feeling, batting, but also not just for himself, but as a team man. So he'll give a lot to the batsmen coming in, the bowlers, the field. So he will contribute a lot within the team as well.
He won't look at stats and like his own stats.
No.
On this average or that. We don't care. It's just whatever it takes to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's like to sacrifice himself to a certain extent, or like I've got to dig in here, he'll do it.
Yeah, so he's got that match-winning mentality.
Yeah.
Of everything he does.
It's interesting because whenever he comes in the bat and bowl now, like there's an immediate feeling that he's gonna do something. Like he's he's a clutch player. So like even when he came in against India, immediately the commentator was like, "Is it going to be another Ben Stokes moment?" And I think over time he's obviously built that personality, but he's also built the character that people believe that he can do stuff like that.
100%. But when you've done that a few times, he's done it a few times.
World Cup, the Ashes, and stuff like that. So he's got a reputation now. He's got a reputation of that match winner.
It's interesting.
He thrives in them situations as well. He thrives in them situations.
It's interesting because you said that like he's happy to like sacrifice himself if he needs to, but then at the same time he can also be the guy who's like, I'll wear whatever it is on my back and go like, I'll take us to the end.
He'll definitely lead from the front first.
That's the sign of a great
but he will
leader.
also. So even when he took over captaincy first, in certain games he went ultra aggressive to show the team this is how we were going to play.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. On the India front, let's talk about India very quickly. There's a lot of talk about Jasprit Bumrah being the GOAT bowler. I don't know if people meant across format or
across formats.
Is he the GOAT bowler now?
I think like it's very early, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, he hasn't played probably as many games
takes-
as Waqar Yunus, Wasim Akram, McGrath, but them guys, don't forget, didn't play that much T20 cricket.
He's definitely a great in this time, this era.
Yeah, I think he's the best by miles.
Fast bowling.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of putting him as the greatest of all time, if like you say, if he continues this for another 5 years, 6 years, then without doubt, I think. Because longevity is the key for him.
He must
I actually don't know how many games
now,
he's played in Test cricket. I don't know how many games he's played Test ODI T20 cricket.
So
I think
it's
it's still fairly
fairly
newish. When I mean newish, as in like I don't think he's played more than 100 ODIs. I don't know if he has or hasn't. I don't know.
He must be 31, 32 now. So
I think for him, for the GOAT status, he's got to be a longevity.
He's 31.
How many games?
He is brilliant though.
No, without doubt. Like I said, he's
games, Test matches, 46 Test matches.
That's not a lot at all. Yeah,
89 ODIs and 70 T20s.
No, so but even just that
that's
alone,
not a lot.
Longevity. Like I say, if he does what he's done now for another 5 years, for example, then you say right.
But there's certain things that he's done that no one else. Obviously, like I think semi wickets are average. Like no one's done that.
But I've read it somewhere where it's similar to Wasim Akram's.
Yeah.
But now Wasim Akram, what he's done is over a number of double the years, not 5 years. He's played probably 300 odd ODIs or something, I think. Obviously, he didn't play many T20s, but Test match cricket, he played over 100 Tests.
Yeah.
He
is brilliant, but I think right now he's the best by miles.
Yeah, right now he's best by miles, but in terms of that legendary status, GOAT status, I think it takes a lot more time.
What is it about him that's like? Obviously, when you watch at home, some of the stuff he just does, like when the entire bowling attack's like leaking runs and not getting wickets, he'll just pop up with.
This is firstly, I think it's action. This plays a big part in it. A very unorthodox action, and instead of like I say, delivers it from right.
He delivers it right in front here.
So that's why when he short,
he's
whatever,
like
it's very hard to pick up.
But he's also like got that
wrist position. He's got real skill.
He's got brilliant
skill of going in, out, Yorkers. So his skill level is very, very high.
And he's much quicker than people think. So he amples in almost like real slow and like jittery, but then hits a crease and he's like amazing wrist. Really, I actually think he's got brilliant wrist, brilliant slow ball, fast bouncer, good Yorkers. Like he's got everything, and like he puts a shift in a lot of the time. and yeah, he's brilliant, man.
You've obviously played against him
Yeah.
a fair few times. What makes him different? Because a lot of balls are
So
variation.
it depends where you're playing. So like when I played against him in England with the Duke's ball, you couldn't see which way he's trying to
In,
swing.
out, whatever.
You couldn't see it though
It's hard.
because of his wrist. Like because he's in front, he's like last minute he does that, and then what happened was I just played for the in swinger.
Go back to the slumps.
Yeah, anything that's coming, I was just playing for everything coming in, and if it then went away from me, I just played the line, and if I nicked one, I nicked one. But because he swings it away anyway, naturally it's more like that. From the lefty, you kind of like you can deal with that a bit. It's the in swinger because I remember going in at 3. Jennings was batting before me, and he left one and just a
Tell me
big
left,
in swinger.
remember that.
Yeah, but you couldn't see it. Honestly, it's like that's what is hard about him. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to play everything for as an in swinger because normally you can see which way they're trying to swing the ball and
Wrist position is very
wrist
good.
position or
Very
like
subtle,
just, or the ball. But with him, you couldn't see it.
You're trying to survive him, like get through his own.
No, he's still looking to score.
Yeah.
No, like, he's still looking to score. Like you can still bowl a bad ball, but like you just with him, it's like even when you're going for a forward defense in England, especially, he could
Pops
bounce.
up. Yeah.
He
He's
could always do something.
He's got like crazy variation, but then also on top, he's just really consistent. Like
He's-
especially
he's-
during
he's
tests, he bowls.
It's amazing how many times he comes on
Something happens.
and then takes wickets.
Yeah.
like they're going nowhere. He's on, and then all of a sudden, it's like the batters are all over the place. Like he's got that aura. He's got that. He's got that about him. But knowing that, but also, I know we're going to talk about this, but when you've got a bowling attack that's nowhere near as good as probably they were, and you got one guy, you kind of think like, play this guy off. Obviously, if he bowls badly, you put him away, but don't worry about this guy. It's the other guys will try and score.
Well, let's talk about that. The India's bowling attack's getting a bit of criticism, I'd say. We kind of spoke about this and we were chatting before we started. Jadeja being the spinner here. A lot of people were sort of saying that they should have bought a different spinner with them.
But they have got a different spinner. Kuldeep is.
He's got Kuldeep,
Yeah, but then-
he might even
Kuldeep
play the
didn't
next.
play
He might
this-
play the next test or
Might play
next
two
week, I don't know.
Yeah,
So
but he
it
didn't
depends.
play this one, so people were saying maybe he should have played. But then the
But
argument is,
it's easier to say that before the test match. Even
Jadeja's
happens.
always going to play.
yeah,
Except his
Because
batting
he
is
plays an all-rounder. He's a genuine all-rounder. It's not like he's a number 9 who can get a few runs and ball. He's actually can bat number even 6 if you had to.
did you lose a pace bowler and bring in a spin bowler?
But it
Maybe.
depends on conditions on what.
Maybe
what it is.
because it's not like they seem as the other like.
Yeah, because
did
they're
that
very inexperienced. Like you say, few of the seam what's his name? The
Thakur, Krishna.
yeah, Krishna.
Yeah.
They're very inexperienced. How many games they played? Test matches 10 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Krishna got a couple of wickets, but he was
No, but I'm just saying they're
yeah.
inexperienced now. So they're in that rebuilding phase of.
It's not about
their
getting
bowling
wickets. So
attack.
sometimes it's about what
Cricket
made
pressure and stuff like that.
Jimmy Anderson so good was obviously loads of wickets, but he hardly went for runs.
It's
But
great
if
pressure.
you're not
So
going-
if you're not getting
then
wickets,
hold
and
tight.
as a seamer, if you're that kind of seamer is trying to contain and so you're building the pressure for the other end, and once you build that pressure as a bowling unit, that's where things start happening. So like I said, they're fairly inexperienced. The more tests they'll play, like you say,
Yeah,
the
they're
more they'll know the
experienced,
game.
and
The
they'll get-
more they'll know the game, the more they know how to bowl in certain conditions. Probably just a lot of them is bowling in England the first time. I don't know if you play county cricket.
Nah,
or not.
Shadow's played last.
How
He
they
played
play.
the test
But
series.
they're fairly new still bowling in England in English conditions, so it's different to bowling in India.
Yeah.
So here you might be a
Completely
bit
different.
fuller, whereas India can be a bit shorter because you can a bit skiddier wicket to wicket. Here you might have to be a bit fuller to get it swinging.
But also England's bowling attack is pretty inexperienced.
Yeah, but the difference is they play a lot of county cricket, so they've obviously mastered their bowling in terms of
In
bowling
England.
county cricket, four-day cricket. Well, I don't say mastered, but they play a lot, so they know the conditions a lot more. But like I say,
Yeah,
it takes
obviously
time.
they
Like
know
I
the
say,
conditions.
it takes time.
What would you what should India do? Because obviously they've got a very strong batting lineup, but the tail end is particularly weak. We kind of addressed on that. So then, if you add another bowler potentially,
The problem they have is the all-rounder. They don't have many all-rounders. So Shadow's there as an
Somebody
all-rounder.
like a Hardik, obviously.
Someone
not
like a
playing.
Hardik,
Yeah.
if he was playing Test cricket, but someone like Shadul is because he didn't score runs, and he has scored runs before in England. Who probably didn't have his best game, but they're struggling with that because they lost so many wickets. Now they're in actually a bit of a problem because with the all-rounder they lost loads of wickets at the end, cost them the game. Now they don't have many others. They can't bring in another all-rounder.
They can bring spin ball and Washington Sundar.
They could do.
Yeah, because he obviously is a
That's
good
the only
batter
way.
as well.
Or they can bring in Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah,
But
either
then
or.
they
It
then
depends on what
back.
they want in the batting. It depends on what they want. Do they want an extra batter but off spinner, or do they want that actual wrist spinner who's a genuine wicket taker, but he's going to be in the low order? You know
I
what
think
I'm
they'll
saying? So
also
it's a bit
in a way they'll be worried because England do play spin quite well, and the wicket, if it doesn't spin that much in Edgbaston,
Where's he playing Edgbaston
Yeah.
next? Yeah.
I think they've got a bit of a conundrum, to be honest with you. I don't know what they're going to do.
But like you say, they're in that rebuilding stage.
Yeah,
you know how every team goes through a rebuilding stage of right.
They miss Shami big time.
Yeah. When
Shami's
he was
amazing.
when he was here last time, I'm sure
I found
it
him
was-
the best. I thought he was the best.
So hard to
Shami.
face.
Much.
I remember one time with that Ishant
Sharma.
Ishant Sharma as well.
Yeah.
He used to swing the ball.
Yeah. They had Ishant Sharma, Shami,
Bumrah.
That's kind of the problem
And
with
they
now.
played that series. That same series.
Jadeja, Ashwin. I mean, for example, seeing that now they're in that stage.
They're just
of
in the rebuilding. They need to put some games in, guys.
Player-
but
the
it's
player
also
playing.
difficult in the series.
Yeah.
India's also difficult because if you lose a couple of games, people are on your back.
Yeah.
And you got a new captain.
Yeah.
So like
I
you
thought
said,
captain's
it's
a
an
really good
experience
job.
is in the rebuilding stages.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's captained too much before, especially
Yeah.
in test matches. I think he did good. It was a great game. You'd have learned a lot from this game, and I think he's still trying to find out who he can trust as bowlers, batters, whatever. But I thought he captained it right. There was a couple of times where he probably chased the ball a bit, but that's just an experience, isn't it? That's normal.
I think he could
But
Probably
for him to
argue.
score 100 in his first game as a captain, like 100,
No, but he's a class player. Though.
unbelievable,
He's a
man.
class player.
And that's
Under
a lot in
pressure.
itself. Yeah. So now he's got that off his back. Now it's about him captaining well.
More tactically, but I think
Yeah.
What do you mean by off his back? Like with a captain?
So no, because when you become captain, the first thing you got to do is still score runs because you're there as a batter, really. So if you're not scoring runs, so like if he didn't score runs now, so if he doesn't score for the rest of the series, everyone will say it's because he's captain. So once you get that first 100 out of the way, now that pressure's a bit off. Still got to score, but that pressure's not.
Yeah, I think obviously, like he will definitely counter anyone saying add a bowler by saying he scored 835 runs, let's say. Like so, batting wise, like KL Rahul batted well, Rishabh Pant batted well, Jaiswal I think hit a century.
I think they'll be really pleased with the batters scoring runs.
Yeah.
And they all played really well. Like I thought, obviously Pant's just proper block.
Entertainment,
Yeah. You don't know what you're getting from him. 1 minute he's just blocking it for a while, and then all
that's
of a sudden, it just
entertainment,
goes
though, isn't it? But he
back,
can,
back,
like you
back,
say,
back.
he can change the game just like that. Within 20 minutes, playing a few shots, all of a sudden, momentum has shifted from.
I think they'll be really
some
pleased
pressure.
with the top order batters because that's in England. That's probably the hardest time to bat. obviously.
But I do think going forward in the Test matches, it'll be more of a challenge.
Definitely.
Because the weather like, it changes quickly and it's a bit more damp. The ball starts swinging a lot more, start nipping.
That was a great wicket, Headingley.
It took all 5 days to last out.
Had a bit of spin, did a little bit.
Yeah,
batters.
so you had basically had everything. But I do think, like I said, at the next Test matches, maybe our next one, whatever.
The biggest test is
It'll
going to
have
be
a
when the
lot more.
weather's not great.
Yeah, when it's damp, a bit
Yeah.
cold, but you're still playing and it's a bit gloomy and it's all of a sudden swinging everywhere, nipping. That's when you see a 3-day Test match. You see a 3-day Test match.
The Headingley thing's so funny to me because like whenever I think about Headingley Test matches, things always happen.
Always.
Yeah, it's
But
always
say-
been a bit of a...
But why?
Always.
Like, why is this one place like?
I think it's like
a bit of history, obviously. Yeah,
it's like in football.
How much does history play a part? Like when you
Massive.
look at
I think once you
Test
start
match.
one thing and then people start talking about it, or this event happened, and it just on people's mind, then another event happened, and all of a sudden it becomes this is a ground.
Yeah.
That a lot of things happen at,
Yeah.
and it just now this is the ground that
We love
England win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And historically they chased down. Historically they won the Ashes. Whatever it is against India again, things have happened.
Does Baz or whoever go in the dressing room like after the 4th day and go, remember when we did this here? Like
Yeah, probably, but I
think so.
think so. There would have been like, listen, we've chased big score here before.
Yeah, that's just like a
Yeah.
normal chat.
And don't think it's impossible. Like that's just normal. It won't just be Baz, with the players.
Yeah. Let's swing it round to a few India memories for both of you. To be fair, you got 117 in Rajkot, 146 in Chennai.
Rajkot.
How do you want me to say it?
Rajkot.
That's what I just said. Is that not what I just said?
Rajkot.
What do you want me to say?
God, you said Rajkot.
I said Rajkot.
Yeah, Rajkot. Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue my geography's better than yours though. So,
Listen,
Okay, who's from Rajkot? Which player from India team?
but that doesn't matter. My geography of
Where's Rajkot?
the world.
Where?
I'm gonna say
South.
nah, it's not south. West India.
Oh,
No.
we don't know. We don't know. We actually say we don't know. We don't know. But anyway.
Where's Chennai?
China South.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely, isn't it?
When it comes to South, bro, you know,
Yeah, because you played there, obviously. But anyway, pick your favourite moment of those three or any other one that comes to mind.
what, 3.
Yeah,
Six
so
for 60.
6 for 67 in Southampton.
Did I play that one?
2014.
Not in 2014. You
Was that
played the other one.
2014?
Yeah, you played the other one.
2019 or 18.
2018.
18.
What did you get?
6 for theirs, I'm sure.
Did you?
Yeah.
6-4.
6-4 theirs. I think the first one in 2014, because I was picked as a batter. There was no spinner around, so I was just bowling, and I remember before that game, I was a bit under pressure because now I'm in as a batter and a bowler. All of a sudden, I don't know spin, I'm bowling, and then I just worked hard, and it just happened for me that game, and it was good. But the second one in Southampton was because Rash was playing that series. I was as a second spinner, but they didn't play me in all the games.
In 2018.
2018.
Okay.
And I came back for that game, and I got 6 for there.
So, which one did you say your favourite is? That one?
They're both on, because one was I just came back in the team, and the other one was just when my first 6.
Did you get recalled for that one? Was that the 2018 India Test? That one. Yeah.
He got
series,
recalled for a series.
Yeah. So what
That was
was
interesting, that.
Yeah, what was that?
Rash played a game here. This is the first start. Rash played a game. Didn't bat.
At Lords.
Didn't bowl.
That was against India.
Yeah,
Didn't bat,
that
didn't
series.
bowl. Yeah.
Didn't bat. Didn't bowl. Didn't catch the ball. In the whole game.
Not needed.
An entire
Thanks
test?
for coming, yeah. Thanks for coming.
That's a
At
great
Lords. At Lords.
That's a
But
great game. You
that
get
was
your
100%.
flipping match bonus.
So that series, like I said, was interesting. You were saying. So I didn't play no first class cricket, so I basically called it a day in terms of red ball cricket for Yorkshire or whatever. So I had a good series. I had a good summer that summer against Australia and India, and they're right. You're gonna play against India potentially.
Who's selected? Ed Smith, wasn't it?
Smith, he goes to play. I was like, I don't know, but they go right. You might have to go play
Championship cricket.
jumbo cricket for Yorkshire. So I had to think about. I was like, I feel good in my game. I don't want to play jumbo cricket and then
Ruin it.
and ruin it. I'd rather go in fresh, like in the test series. So I was like, you know what? I feel good. I don't mind going straight in if that's okay. They're like, no, we recommend you actually play games because everybody's playing routine. They're all playing the games. I was like, well, I think I'll be alright going in because I feel like if I play the jumbo, I might have a few bad spells and then be like, no, I don't feel good. I don't want to play mentally good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, right, that's fine.
Rash
So I was
basically,
the only
Rash
one
basically,
to
if you're going to pick me, I'm not playing no championship cricket.
I was the only one, like I said, at that time. And right, you can play, go straight in.
Yeah.
And like I said,
Really?
I played the whole five matches.
Did you play all games?
I played all 5.
I remember I got dropped for that series. Well, I was in the second. Ed Smith said to me before that, he was like, you're not going to play as a frontline spinner again, basically. And going county cricket, score some runs, whatever. So I went county cricket. I scored a double 100 in the same game. I got 6.
The thing is, you look back at these, just have a bit of a laugh and think how they unfolded or what was said and stuff like that. It's just, it's funny.
From that point, from 2018 till now, like whenever we post a video, every single comment's like, Rash is our greatest bowler, Rash is our greatest bowler.
No, but not in.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
White ball
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
But when, like, just the way you're speaking about that story and it unfolding.
Yeah, that's how it unfolded. When you monos that, they were like speaking about come play
Yeah,
cricket.
I'm not playing
I was like, I
cricket.
can't because I've not played for a year and a bit. I don't want to just play now and then.
Champion cricket is completely different as well, man.
Yeah, so I was like, you need to be going fresh.
Do you know what champion cricket is?
For the cricket. Can't we?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thanks for that. What were you going to say anyway? You said you
So that's how
got
it
dropped.
was.
Yeah, so I got dropped. They obviously told me you're not going to play as a frontline spinner. I was like, oh, sweet, no problem. But I did believe like I can be obviously, and I've been doing it for flipping
5 years
4
before that,
years
6
before
years.
that, and I just had a good game. Then I came back. We both played that same last 2 games. I think it was. We both played together, and then went to West Indies after that. I think.
West Indies.
Wait, what happened in West Indies?
Oh, nothing out there, West Indies. Just
We got smashed. We both got smashed.
We actually, to be fair, in Sri Lanka, we
we
did
did
really well. Those two.
Wait, so you-
Me, you, and Lychee.
Yeah, that was the spin trio. It'd be a 3-match series. They won 3-0. That's the first time England won 3-0 as well in Sri Lanka. Whitewashed them 3-0.
how did you go from... This is straight after West Indies?
No, but this is before West Indies.
Oh, so before West
after
Indies,
India.
you-
So it's India.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
the winter went to Sri Lanka. Then it was West Indies.
Yeah.
So you played well played well against India, played well against Sri Lanka. What happened at West Indies?
No, they just won
I
our
bowled.
test. Was it that one? Was it the first test in Barbados or something?
Yeah, we got smashed. Yeah.
So we got smashed. Our ball got
We
smashed.
both got smashed first innings.
Whatever, I
But the
got
second
smashed.
innings, I don't know how. Yeah, I got 4 wickets, but it was like just happened. It's not like I bowled any different. I just got 4 wickets, and then I think I stayed in the team then after that.
Yeah, so like I said, that was my last test. That was my
Was that your last
last 4-day game. Then that was.
Red Bull game.
Played it. We got smashed. After that, I didn't play again. I was like,
Hard work.
I was like,
it's hard work.
yeah,
Test
that's
matches
it.
are hard
I think
work.
I'm done.
Yeah. It's because a lot of people would have watched the Headingley test and like just gone, oh, this is it's so when it's even, it's great to watch, isn't it? For everyone, and great to play in as well. Like even Shubman Gill, when he did his post-match interview, he said it's like great to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And when you get tonked, it must be like you're just getting slapped for like.
No, but it's not. It's so in Test
a
cricket,
different stage of your career.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In Test
That's what it
cricket,
was.
it's different. So when you get tonked in Test cricket or you're not scoring runs, it's more personal because you're letting the team down, and it becomes like your technique is exposed. You can't just hide. So I think in white ball cricket, T20 cricket, you can hide a bit.
Yeah, you said that a lot. Yeah.
Obviously, you need skill and stuff, whatever.
Probably
but
not so much in ODI cricket. It's a bit harder in ODI to hide.
Yeah, it's still got to hide. You're technically one bouncer.
We're talking about seamen.
I'm talking about generally.
Oh, generally, okay.
You can hide a little bit still.
Well, Test cricket definitely. Test cricket is test. Like that's what they call it. Test cricket. Test.
You
Yeah.
come in.
Ultimately,
You're just exposed. So you got to be on top of your game, basically, in Test cricket. So like going back to bowling spin, I thought Jadeja on the last day, and he was almost late to going bowling wide.
Okay.
especially to the lefties.
To the lefties in particular, and probably
If
just slowing
there's
it up a little bit.
No, but also if there's a lot of rough that wide.
Because they're spinning, but
if you aim for the rough,
for example,
some will
for
skid,
such
some will spin, some will
for a
bounce.
guy who's got so much experience and got loads of wickets, he'd be a bit disappointed that he didn't get more wickets. Not that he bowled badly, it's just that he probably tactically could have gone wider a bit earlier. Whereas Shoaib Bashir was 21, I think. I thought bowled really well, even though he probably want more wickets. But in terms of bowling a bit slower, wider, straighter, whenever he wanted to, I thought was.
What would you say in that sense has happened? Then you probably know him best as like a spinner, but you got like Shoaib Bashir is really young, plays the game how we're saying, or you guys are saying it probably should have been played, and Jadeja's got all this experience, just didn't dial in at the right time, possibly.
I think it's more so in terms of conditions.
Same conditions.
Yeah.
No, in terms of conditions where they used to. Example, for Jadeja plays in India a lot of his cricket. So when he plays in India,
But Shoaib Bashir's what?
no. But when he play in India, for example, Jadeja and the spinners, that generally what they tend to do is bowl a bit quicker. So that because that pitch there reacts quicker, spins quicker, can keep low, do a lot more things. Now when you come to England, if you maybe bowl at a similar pace, things become easy. So therefore you got to slow it up, a bit more craft, a bit above the island or whatever it is. So that's why, like when Shoaib Bashir bowled that slower. Sometimes above the island, a lot more started happening, a lot more drift and spin. Whereas Jadeja just kept bowling it fairly flattish. But when he did slow it up, that's when he got the spin.
But also,
But
I
yeah.
think bowling at Ducky, I don't think Jadeja would have liked it. So
No, because he's never bowled to somebody probably
Yeah.
like that, who's done that,
So-
who's done
so-
this,
Didn't
that.
he came back on Ben Duckett, hit him for 2 fours of his first 2 balls, and then that obviously as a bowler would change
yeah,
it.
but not
didn't
that, because he's then trying to get him LBW ball because he's sweeping reverse a lot. And then he's like, he's struggling to settle with him. And he would have bowled a lot because Ducky played for the most of the innings. He would have bowled a lot against him. Whereas Shoaib, I think he was just allowed to just bowl nicely. I mean, he bowled well, but I think India also thought, we don't have to risk against him. Like, he's not a massive threat on this wicket. Let's just play. And so, yeah, that would have been the two things.
Alright, let's finish on this question that we teased at the start. Harry Brook went out for 99. He also went out for was it a golden duck? I think it was a golden duck, right? Or
Yeah,
just a duck,
yeah.
whichever way.
Oh, hold on, but let me pause it for a second. He messaged me, yeah? Let me tell you the exact words.
What did I message?
Let me tell you the exact words when Brookie got out.
What do you think I said?
He goes,
More. Is that a diamond duck?
no. Brookie's just put them in trouble.
That's what I said.
Brookie's put them in trouble.
He put England in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at that point, England were in control.
Well, he got caught down leg side.
And he got up first
Yeah.
ball, so it's pretty much like,
Yeah.
you can't do anything about that.
Alright, so the question I was going to ask you before he gets on to me is,
He goes, Brooks put them in trouble.
Right, yeah.
and I don't even think he replied. You just ignored the message.
And
Just
before you
ignored
say
the
something, you talk about my 99.
No, I wasn't,
No,
but you can if you want. Go on.
No, get that. I'm just saying, I've been on 99 before.
What I was going to say is, as a bowler, is it more satisfying to get someone out when they're on 99, so you stop them getting 100, or getting them out for a duck? Let's ignore golden duck.
Duck?
Is it?
That's
If he got
the-
99,
that is
means
probably the dumbest
yeah,
question.
because
No,
if he's
but
got
if you-
99,
Hold on. But
if he's got 99 in that time, he must have hit a few fours, maybe a 6 or 2. He's taken for
Yeah,
Why
but
would
you
you
and
allow
him have
someone
gone.
to get
But
99?
you and him have gone head
Yeah,
to
but why
head.
would you want that if you can get him out for a duck and say, forget that, no head to head?
No, not
actually-
this. No,
that's
not this
actually
person.
one of the
Hold on,
dumbest questions.
hold on. Not this person. I'm saying, let's
Any
say,
person, any
let's say
person.
you and
I
Kieran.
don't think if I bowl tomorrow, I'd rather get more out for a duck than him get
Yeah, but
99.
what's more satisfying? I'm not asking.
Get someone out for a duck?
That's more satisfying than stopping someone getting 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he still got 99.
Yeah, but the
I
concept.
know that achievement, whatever, but
The concept of the question isn't he's slogging me around for 99. It's what is more like imagine
more satisfying getting somebody out for a duck.
You and
100%.
you and KO are going back and forth like for however long, and then you've stopped him getting 100. Obviously,
Okay. He got Kale Rowell out for 199. Is that more satisfying?
no, but you already hit the century.
Yeah, same thing, innit? Same thing.
No,
It's a double 100.
Yeah, similar thing.
but
Yeah.
That's actually a dumb question, but
Yeah.
I
So
think
I would say duck.
I think
of course it's duck.
No?
No, but you're thinking about he's hit me for 99. I'm saying just think about the moment
The contest
of,
and the
yeah,
back and forth.
No,
yeah, like the
allow that.
psychology of all of it.
Forget the contest. Let's get them out straight away.
straight away.
I don't know contest.
You can't ignore the context of the question. You go, I'm just going to answer the question I want it.
Yeah, but you're asking me a question. I'm answering it, innit? You're
I'd rather
asking me.
get
I said,
someone
right, I'd
out
rather get him for a duck. End
Even
of.
if he hasn't faced me.
Yeah. Get him out for a duck. Forget the contest. I don't want no contest, mate.
But that's the idea of the question. The idea of the question is, with the context in mind, you've come in.
You know what?
Still,
That question is
regardless of what
so
you
bad.
say-
That question is so bad. It's confused him.
Regardless of what
No,
you
I
say.
don't-
Regardless of what you say. Get him out for a duck.
Well, thank you for that. That's it. Anything else you want to talk about? No?
Nah, what do you reckon? What's your predictions on the series?
Yeah.
3-1 with one game draw washed out due to rain. As there'll be a lot of rain in play, there'll just be draw.
Okay.
3-1, I'm going England.
What are you saying?
I would have said probably the same, but I think India are going to struggle with the bowling. Big time.
It all depends if they.
Because Bumrah's not
if
going
they
to play all.
Are they playing Old Trafford?
I don't know. But Bumrah's, it doesn't matter. So Bumrah is not going to play all, by the way.
Yeah.
And Joff's coming back next game. Not that he's guaranteed wickets, but England can rotate the bowlers a bit more probably.
So I'll go for 3-1 with one test match as a
You're
draw
I'll
or
say
washed out.
3-0. I think there'll be maybe one rained off, one. But something like that.
I'm going to go full one.
Good shot.
No rain.
That's probably a good chance.
Let's see.
Yeah.
You know your cricket, don't you?
You know what?
Evidently,
You know
I've
the
put
cricket.
it up.
Well, he knows his cricket.
5-0.
He knows his cricket.
Could be.
That's a
I
killer.
reckon weather will come into play.
Yeah.
So that's why
If this was the
might
best
not-
weather for India
Yeah.
to play in this one. This game just
There'll be weather coming in play here where there will be maybe a full day washed out. Then you've got less time to be rained off. There'll be all this kind of stuff coming into it.
Alright, well let us know your predictions in the comments if you enjoy this episode. If you want to see more test reviews, and also let us know whether you're listening on Spotify or YouTube. But for now, we'll see you on the next one.
He's a week. If he's excited about something.
He just sits there wiggling there.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.